Gather close. Listen. The eons sing us a story as complex as the workings of a universe written into the stars. A story of happiness, of grief, and of betrayal. A story of daring heroes, nefarious villains, and the innocent caught in the middle. A story of the Toa, those they fight and those they protect. Our heroes rise and fall. Voices echoed in ours. Time moves forward, but their stories persist in our minds. Let me tell you the beginning. This is the story of everything. After many months, we are proud to finally bring to you the Doronai Nui Red Box. This is the first public release of a tabletop game system that we have spent just over a year to create, refine, and prepare. The Red Box contains everything that you will need to get started on your journey as a Toa of fire, water, air, earth, ice, or stone. And as no Toa would be complete without their iconic Kanohi, we have a selection of 42 masks for your Toa to don in this release, with more coming in the next expansion. While a Toa's mask can mean the difference between life and death, no Toa should go out into battle without their reliable weapon by their side. With a wide range of weapons and classes, you can fight in a style that is your own. Of course, your fighting style will also be affected by your choices in our fully fleshed out elemental system, designed to give you even more options when facing down against a tough enemy such as a Borok, Voki, or even a Makuta and his Rockshi hordes. The elemental system is built in a way to help you hone your powers in a way we know you will enjoy. And to top it all off, we have 60 Rahi to make your adventures more interesting, as well as a vast listing of iconic villains and foes. Best of all, the Red Box is available to download now, entirely for free. Just visit us at redstargames.org or look in the description for a download link. We look forward to providing more expansions to the Doronai Nui and to see what you all do. Until then, let us know what you think about our first tabletop RPG by providing feedback in our public server in the light of the Red Star, link in the description. And be sure to follow us on our social media to keep up to date with future updates to the Doronai Nui, as well as a Red Box Q&A and playtest session. More information in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream, this one featuring the Doronai Nui Red Box. And as you can probably tell, I love to talk still, so... Yep, everyone else is here in the background, I guess. Haven't said a whole lot much. Apparently, we chose a really good time to launch our Red Box, because we have the Clone Wars thing, now the No Man's Sky thing. I mean, everyone's doing everything, it seems. Yeah. Yeah. Something else I want to make you guys aware of, I did have a bit of an issue with one of my secondary computers that the stream typically goes through, and as such, some of the settings have been changed and may not fit as well as they should. If you see stuttering or anything else, let us know. I can't really modify it without ending the stream, but if it gets bad enough, we'll take it down and restart it. In the meantime, I'll let you guys, I'll let these guys talk a bit while I guess I go repair that. Yes, if you have not played Dungeons and Dragons before, you read the document and you use your imagination. I think that's pretty straightforward. And Meerkat, this is for you. Dear voice actor of the trailer, beat me up some Redbox Scotty! Okay. Oh, I see that. What the? Okay, somebody say something real quick. Oh, I know what's the matter. I apologize, everyone. The reason you've only been able to hear me, is because, like I said, I have recently changed a lot of my setup because I moved. Okay, somebody say something.
Hello. Say something, I'm giving up on
You're a
you.
bit
Check,
loud.
check, check.
I'll tune it down.
How about
Okay.
now?
So now everyone else should be able to hear you. That should not
Alright.
be
Okay.
an issue anymore. And I'm turning down my volume a bit so that
Okay.
way.
Hi,
No, you're
Twitch.
fine.
I'm doing a lot of staticky right now.
I can hear a little static. Yeah, I don't know whose end that is, but
That would be like.
oh,
Wow, wow.
ah, okay, my ears.
Are
Okay,
you sure?
are you positive?
I feel like that probably is just us.
Yes.
Ah.
And now they all think you're crazy because they couldn't hear me at all for a few seconds.
Yeah,
Pretty
for
sure they think
context,
you're crazy because they couldn't hear us for a few minutes.
for context, Lek is taking revenge on us not being audible by deafening us, so it's perfect.
Yeah, it's Brawlhalla on a temporal scale. Oh, I love a good bit of Brawlhalla.
Jesus.
We are not doing that.
Are we streaming on YouTube also? We are. I
Yeah.
will.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants to keep an eye on Twitch, I'll keep it.
I've got both of them open, so
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
both of them open as
Good.
well.
Raw
Okay.
computing power.
Which I don't.
I'm walking back and forth at the moment between my computer and the broken one to try to figure out why it's not getting any networking whatsoever. So
Hmm.
it's not that it's not
Okay.
that the modem doesn't detect it. It's that the computer itself is failing its network. It's confusing, but
We have a couple questions from in YouTube. Will you publish adventures of your own in the future?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Will
like
do.
adventure modules.
Yeah, I think they're probably talking about things like Horde of the Dragon Queen and like adventure modules like that. Yeah, no, we totally have plans
Like
for
I
that.
just.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, you're not a mechanical developer, so no. But
Yeah, be quiet, plebeians.
anyways, yeah, we
Literally
do
hoping
have
you guys
plans. We do have plans on producing adventure modules and things within different time periods and different locations and things. Hopefully, we can use those as well to introduce new ideas and mechanics. So, like, if we did a campaign that was set on Zakaz, we would probably introduce the Skakdi and, more formally. We do include them in the GMG. You can generate NPCs that are Skakdi in nature, but it's kind of open-ended right now, and there's not that much information to go off of for, like, creating a PC or, like, a player character, so... we do plan on expanding into that eventually.
Isn't the first one that I think is planned is with Toa Metro, since character sheets for them were to be made for the red box?
Yeah, we do plan on releasing the character sheets for that, but I don't remember where we're at currently with like an actual like fully blown module. I think that might be coming after 1.0, but we're gonna try to keep that under wraps for now.
Zeke Potato on Twitch asks, will we be releasing a video for character creation in the future?
Yes.
I think we should. I know that
we've been discussing that quite a bit.
Yeah. We have, well, we might stream it, but we also have 6 character sheets that are pre-generated with the Toa Metro on them that will be out in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want, like, pre-generated, you can.
Alternatively, we also have like a digital PDF, something of character sheet that auto fills in what those are.
Yeah. So our PDF currently it has some stuff going on behind the scenes so that it'll do some of the calculations for you. We know that tabletops can be kind of math heavy, and so we wanted our character sheets to be a little easier to use. I will say though, be careful if you're trying to edit the PDF for the character sheet and through Google directly. It will not save your progress. And that's just kind of a thing that it does for all PDFs. We would try to fix it if we could, but the best way to work on that would be to either download it and use a different PDF reader, or I've heard some talk that like Microsoft Edge works, but I don't know if anybody really uses that. So
isn't that just witchcraft version?
Pickminer asks if this game is on Discord or what. So this is a tabletop game. We have a download link on it, the Red Star Games website. We won't be doing any physical releases. There's no plans for that currently, but you would download the PDFs you need to start playing the game, and preferably you would get together with a bunch of your friends, roll up some character sheets, and then go have an adventure in the Matoran universe. There are other methods. I think that Roll20 could potentially work. We haven't done any of that yet, but yeah, so not so much through Discord, although you could maybe look for other players and DMs and stuff through our Discord or others. So
Robot asks, will the playtest stream be uploaded to YouTube after it's done?
So I'll take that real quick. Because of the way it works, yes, it'll be up. When it comes to if it'll be public immediately afterwards, it might not. YouTube sometimes takes a while to process the streams when we send it their way, so we don't know how long it'll be afterwards. Hopefully within 24 hours it should be up and viewable.
Stainer asks, will the red box corrupt my children?
Yes.
Absolutely.
No.
Okay, so we need to figure out if child corruption is a thing we want, but
let's not be on that.
Well,
the crowd are in there,
let's see.
We don't have any testing on that has been inconclusive. We'll get back to you.
Well, all we gotta do is test it on Pelicar and see what happens.
Throw a crowd at
We
Pelicar.
kill them though.
Oh, that's
Unlucky.
Are we?
What's that meme of the Rakshi? Does anyone have that meme of the Rakshi eBay thing that says that the Krata is a whipping bat? So it's the Krata poison smacking Tahu with his Krata.
Mid-Blue says that Ulti, you might be a little loud. You might want to turn
That's
down.
because I'm superior.
I have turned him down a bit. Hopefully
Okay.
that helps.
Wow.
He also says if it would be possible for us to make the red box viewable through our website. We have been discussing that actually, even right before the stream. We're trying to.
Yeah, we've got to figure some things out with that because of the sizes of the documents. At least the PDF ones. it might not be entirely feasible to have them as just a PDF anyone can open at any time, because we do have a somewhat limited amount of bandwidth for the servers that are currently hosting the downloads. There are some other options which we are looking at doing. Most of them are just, since these were originally developed in a Google Doc, exported to HTML and have you be able to look at them that way. And like I said, that's all being looked into. Just have to figure out the best way to do it.
Do keep in mind, this is like it is a release, but it's like also like there's definitely stuff that we got missing and wrong.
It's a beta test.
Yeah, let's
test
be
in many ways.
for transparency's sake. We wanted to make sure that everything, especially for the content itself in the PDFs, was ready to go. But there's always a chance that we miss something important. For example, I think somebody pointed out within like 5 minutes of the downloads going up that our table of contents didn't have page numbers. It was also in the wrong order. So there's definitely a few things that need improvements. That's just kind of superfluous stuff compared to mechanics. I know that we had some complaints about elemental stuff being kind of hard to...
We will be releasing like an errata sheet in a few days that just fixes any minor things. So it won't be like complete overhauls yet, but in a few days there will be stuff to like fix the tiny little goofs that shouldn't be there. One of the goofs is Patrice's work on the project.
Hi.
And we have another question here by Zeke Potato.
Sure.
Thank you very much for the follow, whoever followed. I'll look at that in just a moment. Again, we have Twitch integrations running, not YouTube integration, so if you want any of that fancy stuff, you have to follow us and whatnot on Twitch. Anyway, would you have any tips for GMs considering doing homebrew for certain things, items, mobs, etc.?
I could probably speak to this. I have a little bit of experience as a DM, and not much, to tell you the truth. But from what I've seen with good game masters and good players as well, but mostly GMs, is that they are willing to. Hang on, I'm still trying to figure out how to word this. I guess we can start with Rahi, since that's my big thing. Assuming that you're working with Rahi that are in canon that maybe we just haven't gone to, or things that are inspired by canon, it really helps to look at BSO1's pages and looking at abilities and traits and things to accurately depict that creature in terms of like stats and things. So definitely make sure that you've got decent references. With items, there's a whole lot of room within lore to do crazy things and, exotic items and stuff, like the Staff of Artaka and all of that. So just look for things that you think you could flesh out really well, and just go for it,
You know what, Ulti? Now is not the time for that.
What's Ulti doing?
He said, wow, like I thought you were meant to be good at this, referring to the fact that my mic volume is a bit low.
Wow, Rat. I thought you were meant to be good at this.
You know what? You try doing a 15-hour move, have all of your stuff taken apart, and then try to throw together something when half your stuff is broken. Or
Get
breaking.
wrecked, Ulti. Get fucking wrecked.
You're lucky we were able to start things on time with how things fell apart at the last minute.
Rip.
Yeah. Like I said, secondary computer I typically use to stream with died. So I'm currently doing this all through my main computer, which I don't do because it doesn't handle the encoding and playing games very well. But luckily, since nothing's on the screen, since an artist isn't here. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize for any issues there have been. It's just me not having this setup tuned perfectly. Or more perfect like I did the previous setup.
Okay. Are there any more questions from our viewers
I'm not seeing anything on the Twitch side of things right now.
or the side? But a second. So the Clone Wars is coming back. Shut up,
Oh,
Wolf.
Well,
come on, Wolf.
hey, important question. Are the Kanohi cards coming out today?
Are they?
That is a good question.
I don't know. Who's in
They
charge?
should be, but at the same time, I need to ask all you guys in Artaka how we're going to do the variants.
Oh yeah, because I don't know. Should we just announce Wednesday?
This week, all the Kanohi cards up to this point have been of red box masks. So this week's is going to be the Inika, which are very famous for being ungodly messes of flesh. But at the same time, we have the inorganic versions that are on our shop, and as such, we have two versions of the great masks.
Just treat them like rainbow rare Pokemon.
Yeah, just make them like a little bit shinier. Come on.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. That's the main thing.
Oh.
Gone.
You're cutting out.
Mir,
Yeah?
were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say personally, I would mark because like we talked about how there was a letter in front of card number, indicate that it was a variant. Yeah, just do that. I would say that the non-organic should always be considered than any variants against that.
Yeah.
Considered variant, and so you put the letter in. But yeah, we do have another question from Zeke Potato though. Insert copious amounts of inquiries here. Would you be considering doing some basic top-down sprites for people who use Roll-D20 or other means of online tabletop?
I actually do remember we were considering some stuff a very long time ago. We haven't had time to revisit it, but I know that for characters, one of the ideas that we had in order to help people represent their character in like a Roll-20 setting, right? Maybe not so much sprites for characters themselves, but we could produce like masks, right? Like from the front view, and those would go down on the table, and you'd have your mask, your main mask, in whatever color that you're using, or maybe Wilk recommends maybe Toa stones. That's another possibility, but then you could use that to represent your character, and that would move around on the table. We also were considering doing something similar with Toa stones a very long time ago, maybe putting that on the Shapeways shop as like little miniatures that you could use. We haven't pursued that too much recently since work on the red box has been accelerating, and we've got plenty of other stuff going on with the shop. We didn't want to overwork our 3D modelers, but yeah, we'll look into it once we we'll probably do that closer to 1.0 if we do that at all. So
let's see. Oh, here's something that's related to Kanohi card. Martin and I have discussing.
Who? You keep cutting out.
yeah,
Martin? Okay, so speaking of Kanohi cards, Martin Collects and I have been discussing getting the Kanohi cards professionally printed. Like not for sale, but like purchase them professionally printed on the site. Just we can supply basically the collection for how to get printed from that site. And we were talking about cool if add some box art too. So Might be something in the future to look out for.
You did cut out a little bit there, but I think the gist of your message came through okay.
All right.
Mini Rigby asks if there will be a download link for the Kanohi concept art of the 42 masks released in the red box. I don't see why not. We should have all the artwork for that at this point, right?
Just put it in the art page for the website.
Yeah. Shouldn't be a big deal or anything. Although, well, hang on. I don't know if we've got concept art of masks that were already released, so we might end up just doing the artwork that Perps got instead of the ones that Amatu's got. Let's see. Any other...
Oh, here's one that we need to figure out. What time are we doing the playtest tomorrow?
That is a good question.
That is still to be decided, as well as the people that are actually coming.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think I'll be available for that. I really wish that I could be, but I've got some stuff to do tomorrow. I've got
Gun
work
practice.
I'm not from Texas. God. Okay, but anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna be doing some stuff, but there should be at least a couple people that are on the mechanical side of things that will be able to.
I'll
help.
try to turn up.
Good. Hey, man.
I don't think I'll be able to make it playtest.
Let's see. What could we talk about with the box here?
I was muted for a second, but I did say that all of the 42 masks that are in the red box have been arted.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. At least up into their great and nobles.
Oh, here is another good question by Dustin Bridges on YouTube. It was mentioned on Discord that a vehicle-focused archetype for engineer wasn't included yet because the vehicle rules themselves weren't ready. Are there other archetypes not included yet but planned on?
To put it simply, yes. Let me see if we've got some examples here. Let's see.
I think dual wielding was originally going to have its own archetype, but it wasn't completely fleshed out, so it was just added as a secondary rule or a miscellaneous rule.
Yeah, there was some stuff like that where some ideas were potentially too similar to really make sense as distinct classes from each other, so we ended up merging them. We aren't I don't think we're currently planning on adding any. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Yeah, we do have some super types that are also coming as well. There's some things in our system that aren't quite ready. We'll try to keep that under wraps, but I suppose we could talk about some of the other archetypes that are going under our main super types right now. We haven't started work on all of these, and some of them might be incomplete. I'll just drop one name and we'll leave it there. For melee super type, one of the planned archetypes that'll be coming to our system eventually is the Berserker. So.
I want to note that Sakota commented, Hero Factory not...
Grey box coming soon.
The Grey Box.
Hero Factory expansion coming for the Grey Box.
Soon trademark. No, that is a good question, though. Like, if we do eventually flesh out literally everything to do with Bionicle, do we have interest in pursuing a Hero Factory module?
No, we will do Bionicle G2 before we do Hero Factory. There's no way.
Excuse me, but like, our passage into going into the Hero Factory expansion is going to be through Bionicle Revolution, so...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot the Grey Box has... Oh, Christ. It's got the fucking Bionicle Revolution expansion that's planned for, like, 19,000 or something. The year 19,000.
Oh, so we're going to invent time travel.
Coming out on February 31st next
Yeah,
year.
that one. Or we could do like November 11th.
We'll do a. You'll have a
September
Sidorak.
16.
You'll be able to do a Sidorak, character creation, and
He's literally Hitler.
We're going to
We're
invent months. We're going to invent months for the gray box, like Rectober and Toyotathon.
Okay, guys.
Toyotathon!
Okay, listen here, guys. We're gonna bring in Robo Riders as also another expansion.
Yes,
I don't know who you think you are, but you're not in charge of the Grey Ball.
Yeah, that can only go to Greystar Games, who is only Ulti.
Yeah.
I'm part of Pink Star Games, and I am introducing Robo Riders into
Then
the
they're gonna
expansion.
sue you because Greystar Games is officially supported by Lego.
Yeah, sure.
Pink
The same
Pink
way that
Star
Gabriel
Games is
was.
look here. Pink Star Games is supported by Mega Bloks, okay?
That
Alright,
sounds pretty trash.
Let's try to rein this back in
Alright,
here. Blue's asking if we have thought about translating the rulebook to other languages. We are considering doing that later down the line. Most of our focus right now is still on development of actual mechanics and stuff, but we are working internationally. We have people from different countries that may not be native speakers of English, and so it's possible that as time goes on, we can work with them to try and get it translated. We might bring other people in from, other speaking. That's not my words. No, but for
Other
people
speaking.
from other speaking, yes. People who speak other languages, we might ask to bring them in and work with them on that. But that is quite a long process, so we're not currently looking into it.
I literally live in Arizona. I could just walk down the street and ask somebody to translate the Spanish. So when we get to that point, count on Spanish being there.
Zeke asks on Twitch, quick inquiry on the armor pertaining to how it affects each individual limb. How does that affect mobility, i.e., light armor on everything, but heavy armor on left leg, etc.?
I believe that whichever one has the highest level of disadvantage, so whichever armor is of the highest level is the one you go with. So even if you have all of your limbs are super light, but you have a super heavy chest plate, then you go with the disadvantages of super heavy.
The reasoning behind that is that somebody could be wearing nothing but normal clothing, but if they've got a ball and chain on one of their legs, they're going to be moving at the rate of ball and chain on their leg. So
You've never seen me shuffle.
Jesus.
Me
No.
run out.
Barden asks, in what version will we see some awesome artwork in the document?
That is
1.0.
That's going to be planned for 1.0. The red box is, again, it's a very beta type thing. A lot is subject to change, and so we didn't want to release finalized PDFs with a bunch of artwork and stuff. When again, the focus should mostly be on the mechanics. But 1.0 will be more streamlined. There'll be a lot more content to it, and additionally, the PDFs are going to be very, very pretty.
I will make one additional thing there just so that way we aren't confusing everyone. That is version 1.0 of the Dornai Nui, not of the red box.
Yeah, sorry. Red box is part of the Dornai Nui, but yeah.
So-
Sakoda asks, when is 1.0 planned to be ready? We don't have an official date on it, but it's soon.
Once we get feedback, probably is a good idea when it's going to go full force.
Yeah, we're gonna wait a while to see what people think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't want to make any super sweeping changes or start streamlining stuff right away since we don't actually know what needs to be streamlined. We are counting on our fans and other Bionicle communities to start playing with the game and making sure that everything's balanced, or if it's not, that we can balance that ahead of time.
At the very least, can we confirm that it will be here before the end of the year?
Well, no, we
No?
can't confirm that.
We'll
We all know what
our
happened with the red box, so...
Yeah.
yeah, our development cycle has been pretty crazy. There was a time very long ago, probably back in October, I think. So I would only been here for like a month at most, where we thought that, oh well, we'd be public and everybody would know what we're up to by, you know, the middle of December. We didn't show up until like
March.
you know, late spring of this year. So, you know, we'll do our best to make sure that, you know, we are working our hardest to get all the content ready. You know, we've got a lot of Rahi that we need to write, new items and stuff. We're going to be planning on working on the Matoran and Taraga races for sure, but a lot of that can take some time. Hopefully it won't take as much time as, you know, getting the red box out, because we were developing all the rules for the system. Yeah, no. So we'll be revising those, but we don't have to start from scratch on that, which should hopefully help. But no, we're not ready to talk about like an actual release date for 1.0.
Something I will add on top of that, though, just keep in mind, the Dornai New Way at this point is not going to be the only thing we will be doing. From this point, we're going to start working on getting the Shadow of the Colosseum out, along with some other side projects that we think the Bionicle community will enjoy.
Yes.
So.
And there's also always going to be the masks from the Shapeways shop.
We have a lot of items that still need to get out there. We know that we've kind of stalled with production there. We're hoping to kick that back up soon.
Okay.
We do have a lot of stuff in the pipeline for the shop.
Alrighty. Another question here from Cthulhu, I guess that's the shorthand for it. What's the difference between the Dornai Nui and the red box? I thought they were the same.
The Dornai Nui is the overarching, like, that's the entire system. The red box is just the playtest of that system. So we released the red box, which is part of the Dornai Nui, and as we release more and more stuff, that will expand that.
It's the first game in the series that is the Dornai Nui.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Olmec variants when?
Eventually. We do have the concept artwork for that ready. I don't know if it's been shared outside of the, you know, outside of the internal.
It has not.
It has not.
So we do kind of have that under wraps. I'm a little intimidated by the Olmec, if I'm being honest. We've got 3 different variations that we've got to make, and there's a lot of detail on that one, and we want to, you know, we want to make sure that it feels like an Olmec in all variations, but yeah, it scares the hell out of me. Anyways, Zeke Potato asks, are you planning on other options for playable characters other than Toa in the future? 100%, absolutely. We want to
Matoran and Taraga.
Matoran and Taraga. We want people to be able to play as Skakti eventually. We want people to play as Zeans or Steltians, all 3 variations of that, mind you.
Yep, and
the Baraki, right?
Thing?
Yeah, the 6
the Baraki races.
The Baraki races, yeah. We do have
Zyglax.
Well, Zyglaxa maybe, but yeah, no, I mean, there's a ton of room in this universe to, you know, increase our options for playable characters. We don't want to limit people just to Toa. It was just the thing that we know people would want the most, and it's the most, one of the most iconic races in the series. So we wanted to make sure we started with that right out of the gate.
Cthulhu,
yes, Makuta. Yes.
Also planned, and to add on to what Petra was saying in response to Zeke, secondary element Toa will be coming soon as well.
Yeah, no, we also want to do that. One of the reasons that we kind of delayed secondary element souls is that some of them
Gravity
are kind of weird.
Psionics.
Yeah, they don't necessarily work the same way with our current system. You know, if you're looking at the history of D&D, right, psionics has been there for a long time, and every system has attempted to do psionics a different way, and arguably every time it's been attempted, it has failed. So we want to make sure that we do it in a way that makes sense with the universe and is also not extremely destructive, but also, you know, you have a reason to play it and whatnot. Let's see, who else is playing here? Underscore Double asks if there's any plans to implement pit mutations. We actually did figure those out a while back. They're not ready to go yet. Once we, start expanding out into the later years of Bionicle with the pit and Mario Nui and all that, we'll introduce it. But yeah, there are ways that we've come up with to mutate you should you be, exposed to the bottom of the deep.
Mutation.
From the deep.
Another question from Mid Blue: how many members are in Rsg?
A lot.
There's a shitload.
The
Let me
number
go check.
I've actually got the number here.
We're about to fire half
is
of them.
89 members in the development server.
Oof.
We need to fire 20.
That doesn't
Click
necessarily mean
fingers.
they're all active. It's just the amount of people we've brought in over time, and who have, I believe, at least contributed something to the Red Star.
So yeah, some of the people that are able to see our dev server might not be developers themselves. We've got Model Masks, a couple members from TTV and other groups are in there, so they're not necessarily contributors, but we do value their input and they can see some of the stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, we do have a pretty substantial team working on this.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of fish.
I've heard about chaos within. That question. Okay.
No, I can do this.
Or I can too.
Yeah, but who's the PR guy?
Well, I think
Both
it's
of
probably
you.
best to have it said by a Team Artaka member.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I say no to probably having you do it ulti, because I think it's best that they get it from someone at the top. So, when it comes to what's been going on with the chaos within the ranks of Rsg, at this point, that's a bit of old news. As some of you know, Diggy, LQ, LJ, and Swert did leave the development server, with Diggy being our original PR member and a member of our Team Artaka. They had some issues with some things that were going on, and since they have left, we have been working hard, and I think we've done a pretty successful job at dealing with a bunch of the issues that they brought up. So, since then, there's been some restructuring. We've made 2 new ranks, Team Axon, which are directors, and Team Brutaka, which are deputies, to try to make sure things aren't lost, because things were lost quite a bit in the development server because of how single-minded Discord chats are. It's hard to have multiple ideas going in one chat at once. So it's very easy for those ideas to get lost and be misplaced, especially if there's only one person running a specific department. So, so since those guys have left, we've implemented all of these changes, and we feel they've done a pretty good job.
Who is eating?
What was that, Perp?
Somebody is rattling.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, I think that was him. But anyway, we think we've done a pretty good job at getting things streamlined quite a bit more, by having more people in charge of a section. Ideas are lost a lot less, and there's a more proper chain of command. We've also trimmed Team Artaka a bit, so that way it's more of, I wouldn't say core members, but it's essentially been cut down to where it's just an executive team that serve a lot of the same functions as Team Axon or excuse me, our directors, but it also deals with some of the more back-end stuff, a lot of the higher PR decisions, and some other things. So, It's not too much that we're above the directors. We work constantly with them. We love all the directors, and they would be in Team Artaka if it wasn't for the fact that we didn't want it overcrowded anymore.
Yeah. To give you an example, right, and not to throw Meerkat under the bus here, right, but Meerkat was at one point a part of Team Artaka, which is, currently, heads of the group. They make a lot of the larger decisions. Meerkat is a chef. He was given Team Artaka role because he was a chef, and he will always be the chef. But we're not sure that he needs the executive decision making of that. So,
to say this about that situation, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was me in particular that was one of the only people who didn't belong in that highest group.
Yeah. No. Sorry. I just.
Jeez.
Who the hell
What
was
the-
that?
That was Diggy.
Diggy? What?
No, it wasn't Diggy. I saw
well.
it. It was like Ant something, and they joined and left. I'm going to take a look at our members' roll, figure out who did it, so we can bring
It'll
them
be
out a
fun.
bit
Fam,
later.
GG.
Ugh.
But no, we weren't. It wasn't just me who was one of the people who was in there. That probably shouldn't have been in the first place. But that was just the way that it had been structured up to that point, and there was definitely necessity for change in it. I honestly have no hard feelings towards anybody because to be honest, like whenever they discussed like things that I had absolutely no power over, it was just I didn't have anything to say, so it was just like I just am seeing this internal problem that I have nothing to do with. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people in my same situation, the same exact feeling. You know what? Yeah, it's fine if we get that quote unquote demotion. It's not a demotion, reassignment of what our roles are in the server. It was good that we were.
It's not much of a big deal. At first, I did have an overreaction in terms of that sort of demotion, because my previous role was basically Patera Actual, where I just went around the different departments and I made sure everyone was, working and interacting with each other, like the departments were communicating with each other. But it's not much of a big deal. It's just knowing like you can dedicate your work to working on the job. It's not really the role, it's more so the work that you do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anyways, yeah, we've had these changes, but I think that overall they're all for the best, and we have been, doing a lot of work recently. So I know that sometimes it looks worse than it is from the outside, but we have been working really hard. So, anyways, let's see. Let's get back to the box here. So, I guess we could discuss some of the stuff that we've done within the last couple of days for the red box, since we don't have any questions right now. We never really advertised or planned on introducing the Krata or the Rakshi or even a Makuta NPC into the red box. For a really long time, we thought that was going to be difficult to quantify. That was always the thing that I said. Mostly because we were worried that, if we introduced the Makuta, but we didn't introduce the Krata and the Rakshi, well, then that would feel incomplete. But if we work on the Krata, then we have to do all 6 permutations of all 42 powers, and that was going to be a huge mess and all this other stuff. But we also knew that people definitely wanted to put Makuta in their campaigns, so we kind of reached a middle ground. We decided that we would introduce the Makuta as just a generic NPC. People can fill in, names and items and stuff like that, motives, whatnot. And then we would also introduce the 6 Rakshi that we know the best. So, we've got poison, disintegration, fear, anger, hunger, those ones. And those are all Krata stage 3, which we thought was around the range where they start to get a little dangerous, but they're not, inherently going to kill the entire party just by themselves. So, for a suggestion, if you're getting later into a campaign and you do want to introduce Rakshi that are a little stronger, you can tweak the stats and do some other things to make them more potent. We totally support that as well. But we got a question here. Zeke Potato, will you be listing possible areas to hide or place Kanohi? In D&D, they at times have items and entities appearing in mountainous grasslands, desert, etc. Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I know that in canon they did that with the Nuva masks. They were hidden all across the island in specific locations, and the Toa Nuva had to go and find those masks. And I think that could be represented pretty well within a tabletop game setting. If we introduce Mata Nui as a location eventually, and for whatever reason a game master wants to play with their players being the Toa Mata or Toa Nuva, that could be a fun thing to do. So yeah, we could look into that. I don't know where specific masks, like if they were based on power, would be hidden, but we could look into that, sure. Hello? Anybody there?
Hi.
I'm still here.
Hi.
Yes.
What question did you just answer?
The one from Zeke Potato?
Okay, I was about to
Sounds
answer that, lol.
The underscore double says, good to see that RSG isn't friggin' falling apart. Lol.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been some talk online, but we're just, putting our head to the grindstone and just going about it. I think that our actions will speak louder than our words. So as long as we keep doing a lot of hard work and making sure that our content is of, high quality, then that'll prove to everybody that we're here for the long haul. And I think that one of the things that Bionicle fans are pretty decent at, just in my experience, is that we don't really know when to quit. Our favorite story has been killed off twice over the course of like 15, 16 years, and we're still here. So, we're gonna take a note from the community and just keep doing what we're doing.
We got the Red Star. We resurrect beings because Greg.
Because Greg.
We are
There's actually
Castor.
something that would be interesting to get into being resurrection, assuming Red Star is actually in working order.
Teleport machine broke.
Teleport machine broke.
Sorry, fam. I'm talking about that as a game mechanic, by the way.
Oh, that.
Similar fashion.
La resistance lives on.
Zeke Potato asks if there are general niches for Rahi. If you're, you might need to be more specific. I'm not quite sure what you mean.
I think
but if
he
you're...
means do specific Rahi tend towards like particular areas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we were developing the Rahi manual, we were constantly consulting BSO1's pages on the Rahi to make sure that we were representing them properly, and part of that is locale. So you're more likely to find archives moles in the archives than you are in Le Metru up on the top of a skyscraper. Same thing where you're more likely to find a phase dragon over where there's a bunch of fast things that are racing and flying about and shit, rather than underneath a fucking like knowledge tower or anything like that. So I don't know if it's explicitly stated in the Rahi manual itself, but I know that our encounter tables should represent that a little better. So we have a couple tables that you can roll. I think it's a D12 currently on, and that if you're needing to come up with a Rahi encounter or some kind of encounter, then depending on which table you use, like we've got one for each major metro, so that'll help you find Rahi that would live in those specific areas.
Here's obviously this is something for another time. So this is something that we will develop at another. This is a personal question. How hard would it be to adapt? Have set up for Metro Nui in Redbox at the time to adapt to a Matanui setting in case somebody wanted to try playing in Matanui.
Well, the good thing about Metro Nui is that a lot of the Rahi in Metro Nui are in Matanui as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
one of the major story elements of that year for 2004, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't remember when exactly it was, but one of the main reasons that the Rahi were there was that when the Great Cataclysm happened, and the Matoran started migrating up to the surface of Mata Nui, the Rahi followed them. So, that's why you have Fiku and Kanera and Muaka and all these other crazy animals running around on Mata Nui, was that, from their perspective, the universe was ending. So they followed suit and trying to escape. And then similarly, when the island started to get wiped and the Matoran went back to Metru Nui, that's when the Rahi came back. So, in terms of ecology, I don't think that it'll be super difficult to kind of retrofit the stuff we have for Metru Nui back into Mata Nui. And luckily, Mata Nui is a pretty large location that has a lot of history and we know a lot about. So, as long as you've got some experience with the lore, and we can help you along the way. But the M-Log's a great resource for that to, homebrew a setting for Mata Nui. And we will definitely be exploring that location ourselves at a later date. But I have a feeling that some of the game masters are probably going to beat us to the punch.
Okay. Another question from Mid Blue. Their last question: how do you feel about collabing with Other Bionicle Projects?
They want to collab with us. Sure.
Well, we can't say a whole lot about this, Petrus.
Yeah.
Let's. We're looking into it. Let's just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, we're looking into it. There are some promising things going on that we cannot speak about without Lahari's approval. So, just note, it's been on our mind. It's been something we've been actively looking into. It has seen some interesting results, but that's all we can say.
Mm-hmm.
Just to reference a joke earlier from chat, somebody was like, Gummy, the Nika masks win? No, never.
But one of the gummy crowns
What if we did Anika masks
yeah.
that were like beef jerky?
What if we did
No.
organic every mask?
Okay,
Do you want that?
so here's where I'm at right now with the gummies, because getting really burnt out trying to perfect the way these are. And in terms of mass producing, like doing some kind of a Kickstarter with guarantee that they will be mass, it's not a bad idea, but at the same time, I don't know how large the orders I'd need that are. This is just for gummy trays. Gummy trays are just hard because they're out of food grade silicone. You don't want the 3D printed. It's just tough. But
I think Perp just fell into his box of Lego.
Perp.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going down the rabbit hole there.
I'm sorry, I've fallen and I can't get up.
I might fall on.
Zeke says, on the Forge you do have some Hordika styled masks. Could there be a possible Hordika expansion in the future? That is that we want to do. One of the reasons that we absolutely wanted a 3D model and release the Hordika masks on Shapeways is that we don't really have that many options for Hordika masks out there. You have, your 6
Metru
Metru masks in that one particular color, and that's about it. So we don't really see that many Hordika mocks out there because, you know, there's not that many masks. And so we wanted to definitely give players the ability to become Hordika, you know, through the Hordika Venom. And so we thought, well, if we're doing that, then we might as well make the masks to help support that. And hopefully, right, the idea would be that as you're playing the game, you know, you have an idea of what your character looks like. Suddenly they become a Hordika. You find out later, oh, well, not only am I a Hordika in the game, but this Hordika mask is available on this person's shop. And so I could potentially mock my character in this form. And so, yeah, we'll definitely be expanding on that idea once we figure out the Viscerac and Hordika Venom itself, the potential effects of that, how the masks would work when, you know, well, I think canonically you can't actually use them, but there's some stuff to figure out there, and then also the Rotuka powers. So once we've got all that set in stone, we'll be introducing that.
Is it weird that the only notable Hordika mock that I can think of that is not of one of the Tometsu is just Savage?
Oh, like Savage from
The Dark Hunter Savage.
Yeah, the one that wears the Ruru. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, yeah, no, that's the other thing, is that there's not even that many canon examples of Hordika characters, and I've seen it done in a couple ways. I really like Hordika characters. I think that it's interesting to see these people who have spent a lot of time thinking that they're, you know, solid, lawful good, and then, you know, they have to, fight themselves, essentially. They're you know, emotionally conflicted on the inside, and physically they're being twisted and tormented and all of that. And that's a fun thing to do with the characters, to see how they would act in that kind of situation. So
Sushi Yoda asks, will the Makuta be added after the Makuta project is over, or will they be added over time? In 1.0, we plan to release some of the more iconic Makuta, and then for specific Makuta from the project, I think that's basically down to the player to homebrew them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we definitely want to make sure that all the canon examples are out there. So we will be doing Pterodax, we will be doing, you know, Kajal, Spiria, Mutron, maybe not all at the same time, but we do want to get the canon ones out there. There have been discussions about if we would do non-canon ones. I do personally like the Brotherhood project quite a bit, but you know, that'll mostly be up to the DM, because the other thing is that, you know, we know that there's only supposed to be 100 Makuta, but obviously if somebody doesn't want to work with those characters, then they're going to come up with their own. So, and that's the other thing as well, is that we want to stress that while we are working on expanding a lot of the lore, it's not necessary to follow that. It's the nature of a tabletop game, you know. You look at all the work that goes into lore for, like, you know, Wizards of the Coast. You know, you've got the Sword Coast, you have all of these planes of existence, you have, you know, different ages and eras and stuff. Every single D&D campaign I've ever played completely ignored that stuff. So if you don't like what we're doing, then, you know, you can feel free to implement your own stories and things. We don't want to discourage that by any means.
The other alternative is just, like, you know, if you don't like a rule in the game or something like that, or like lore aspect, you can just be like, you know what, this is an alternate universe, this is how it works, because that is a very prevalent thing in Bionicle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have an alternate universe where everything's just very glowy and stuff, and like only a third of the Bionicle stuff appears in there.
But love's still not canon.
It's called Tron.
But it's still not canon.
Yeah.
Love is never canon.
Not even in my real life.
Toa Sandwen, alternate universe.
Coley head expansion. Maybe.
That'd be
You
fun.
never know.
I'm going to joke about this no, I'm joking about this right now. That's what we're going to do when we buff strength.
Coley head
is another
modifiers.
expression for Reuter.
What?
No, nobody. Coley head is an expression in the Bionicle universe for a Reuter.
Oh God, that's terrible. What the hell? No.
Voodoo Island. Yes, let's bring voodoo heads into the whole canon.
I'm down.
Bone size ready.
Boom shakalaka.
Raggedy bones!
Ooh.
I've got a bone to pick with you.
Jesus.
That's the first visitor I've had in several years, and he's dead now. So
I'm really glad that voodoo heads didn't work out. I appreciate what it did to help make Bionicle what it is, but could you imagine if we were sitting here trying to come up with a tabletop game for fucking boneheads?
Okay, but did you see the Faber Files video where they showed off the gear functionality of the voodoo heads? Those things were cool, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It was falling into that same. It was falling into that same vein as Galador, and I think that if they had gone through with it and released Boneheads, then Lego might have died. I don't know.
they really needed that push away from just pure Maori, because if they went voodoo heads, I'm pretty sure the Maori lawsuit would have been even worse as well.
Yeah, let's remind ourselves that the Maori won that lawsuit anyways. If it had been as insensitive as voodoo heads might have been, then it could have been the end.
As far as I could tell, a lot of the actually about voodoo wasn't. Anyway.
Yeah, we're getting back on a tangent here. Keep the questions coming. Impossible boss. Great beings in the future. I don't really see great beings as a boss so much. They definitely have extremely high intelligence, but they seem like the kind of individuals that would probably fight through proxies.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
when,
aside from being really smart, that just Victorian.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, when things went to shit with their planet and the shattering started happening, did they decide, oh, well, we're going to fix this ourselves? No, they built a big-ass robot to do it for them. They're not the kind of people that get their hands dirty and actually do shit themselves. So definitely we want to introduce them as a race that you can encounter, and they'll definitely be powerful in the sense that they have extreme intelligences and surround themselves with creations that can protect them, but they themselves are going to be, you know,
I think about it this
basically Goltorian.
They could also potentially be, you know, and this is optional, they could potentially be also Latorian, Toa, EC, Reborn, because they did create the Mask of Life, and that just imbue themselves with elements, and that.
You're cutting out again, but I think I can hear what you're getting at, that they were potentially augmenting themselves to become more powerful.
Exactly.
I could potentially see that, but you know, since a lot of their tech ran on, you know, energized protodermis and other things of the like, I wouldn't really call it stable. So.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind they did blow up their own planet, so.
Whoops.
Oops, I killed him.
Whoops.
Moving on.
Can't say that's not the exact motto that the great beings had when the Matanui robot just left for space.
Oops, I killed them. Moving on. Yeah.
BRB, gonna go explore the universe. I'm back. What the heck happened?
You guys this up.
Well,
any other questions that have been answered?
No, we've kind of got a smaller group today, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
No, we have quite a few viewers, actually.
Oh
Surprisingly.
shit! Sorry, I wasn't looking at the YouTube stream just now. Yeah, okay, we're doing pretty good then.
Yeah. We, but that being said, unless there are any other questions, we will probably wrap this up here in a bit. We won't be doing games or anything today because, unless you guys, I doubt you guys want to see Brawlhalla again for like the
Umpteenth
50th
time.
Yes.
Hey, Ulti.
Ulti would really like to play Brawlhalla with us, and I'd really like to put a fucking hole in his head for it. But
Brawlhalla.
Warframe!
Ulti.
I
Yeah.
have downloaded
Just
Warframe, so
1v1
Okay.
Brawlhalla. Fuck me up, fam.
Okay, I'll do it later. I'm gonna have to eat first.
Alright,
Zeke,
sounds good.
Zeke says, when you do decide to introduce the other PC races, will you be adding high difficulty bosses? Possibly, yeah. I could see the Paraka being an interesting, maybe not a boss, but like a group of NPCs that would be difficult for a team, especially since there's 6 of them.
Bionicle Heroes campaign.
Yeah, we will.
Don't you mean 7?
Well, if you're counting Vizon, sure, but you know, he didn't even count himself.
Fenrak, though.
Yeah, no, that's a boss fight. That's a boss fight.
Especially because he can't die.
Our,
Goldskin Bean, that's a boss fight.
Cardaz Dragon.
Trencron.
Oh god, Trencrom. Trencrom is gonna be
coolest boss.
fucking ridiculous.
You can't even look at him though, let alone.
You'd have
hit
to
him.
fight
Yeah.
with a mirror.
Then
You're
we
gonna
just
have to
just-
roll a pretty high like will save, or you're gonna go fucking insane just because he's nearby, and then he's gonna disintegrate you because he's basically an Eldritch
God.
Horror plus a Beholder.
Trencrom is just the Call of Cthulhu expansion.
Ugh.
You have to fight blind, essentially.
That sounds like an awesome module. Like the Trencrom, what's the Cthulhu game again?
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. Call of the talking of Trencrom.
Alright, well, I think this is probably gonna wrap up the stream for today. Just one last thing. Please play the red box. I mean, we definitely want to hear your guys' input, but more importantly, we want to hear that you guys are having fun with it, you know?
And if you're not, please tell us why.
Yes, exactly. The whole reason that tabletop games exist is to have fun with a group of friends. And so, if that's not happening, that means we've fucked up and we gotta fix it. So, you know, I know that there are a couple people that have reached out to us saying that they'd like to host campaigns and, you know, put those on YouTube, and that's fantastic. So,
Just
definitely...
make sure you let them know that it is a beta, you know? Like,
Yeah, it is a beta, so please keep that in mind. Everything's a little touch and go currently, but we will do our best to improve that. And I do hope to hear some of your guys' stories. We should probably tell some stories about what happened when we play tested it a few months ago, because Peel ended up... Oh, Peel.
Let's just finish off the stream with just telling stories.
Yeah, fuck it. So Peel ended up. He was our Toa of Air for the campaign with the Toa Lasoka, which had like 14 members or something, because we had a bunch of players that would jump in and out. And so we would send different groups on different missions. And the story was that there was this serial killer of some kind. Matoran were disappearing and off the streets of Metro Nui, never being seen again. And so the group had a lead somewhere in Ko-Metru, and so they were dispatched out there to interrogate a Matoran. And so it was, I can't remember who all was there. It was me, Peel, I think Mudkips may have been there, because Mudkips was involved with the really early playtesting stuff. There were a bunch of people. Was Louise there, or did she go? She may have gone somewhere else. But anyways, so we end up going up into this knowledge tower up in Ko-Metru. And we are looking for this particular Matoran, and we find him. And he sees us. He potentially knows something about what's going on with these disappearances. And he starts fucking running. So Peel, who's got a Kanoka launcher, decides that he's gonna like shoot him with a freeze disc, and he hits him just right. freezes the guy solid. We grab him and we move him over somewhere where we can start interrogating him. And is that not what happened, Wolk? Maybe I'm remembering this. Shit. Oh yeah, no, the impact killed him, didn't it? Yeah, no. So he dies the first time, right? And yeah, so Wolk saves him because we realize that maybe we shouldn't be killing Matoran NPCs as Toha. And so he's sitting now I remember, yeah, so he's sitting on a bed, right? This Matoran's unconscious and we're already wary of Peel's actions because he's now shooting potential suspects and shit. But Peel goes up there and he's like, "All right, hang on. Could I please roll to like lightly slap him on the cheek and try to wake him up?" Naturally, he rolls a crit fail, and instead of fucking, slapping him gently on the cheek, his fucking arm cocks back and he punches the Matoran straight in the fucking face. Like,
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
yeah, so then everybody, this guy's already potentially killed this Matoran. He's now trying to beat his, like, half-dead body. Everybody's grabbing Peel, trying to take his weapons away from him, and we're all yelling, like, "Shit, dude, what the fuck?" Yeah, no, I mean, that's the beauty of tabletops, is that stupid shit's gonna happen, and you just gotta embrace it. So, yeah, please let us know if you guys have any fun stories with our system. We'd love to hear it. But I think that's gonna do it for the stream today. Unless anybody else has any closing remarks.
I don't have
Buy Doronai Nui Redbox now.
Don't buy it, just download it. It's free.
Yeah, just download it. Give
If
us
you're-
feedback, please.
If anybody tries to get you to pay for the red box, leave the site immediately because it is not us. It's a scam.
Also, how do we have scams already?
We don't.
Pay us with your feedback. That's one way to get feedback.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, don't do it.
Send. If you have feedback, send it to us on our public server. The link's in the corner.
We accept feedback as donation.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't say that.
I
Wait,
accept
I wasn't.
feedback.
I wasn't paying attention just now. What did I just go to?
Paying to give us feedback.
No! Don't do that.
Give us feedback by donating to our PayPal.
God.
You can give us feedback by paying to our PayPal at rsg_umatu.
No, fucking
Patreon.
Okay. Closing remark. Actually, give us serious feedback. Don't listen to any of those shitlords.
Hey.
Listen to this shit, Lord.
Listen to this shitlord. Also,
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 yes.
Yes.
I think that's everything, guys.
Okay.
So, with that being said, we're about an hour and a half, I think, into a stream. I think this went well. We want to thank everyone who came out and participated. It means a lot to us to have you guys come and discuss things with us. It looks like we do have one additional question. Haga masks win.
Soon. We're
Trademark.
still working on those. They're in the final stages of quality assurance. We have stalled on those a little bit. Some of the modelers, they do other stuff around RSG, myself included, and so we haven't had too much time to model masks, but we do want to, wrap those up. We've got a few extra people working on quality checks right now, so we will be making announcements about that eventually.
Alrighty. Well,
Okay.
with all of that being said, thank you guys for coming out. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I don't know.
May you walk in the light of Motunui, you beautiful bastards.
Yes.
And
that's where we end it.
Yeah. I think we will go ahead
That's it.
and actually end the stream today. Instead of just doing music, we're going to play the Redbox intro for you guys again. because
Woo!
we love it. Me especially. It never gets old.
Yeah.
At least
You
it won't for
compiled
another
the
few
video.
months. Yes, I did, and I love every second of it, especially the animation at the beginning, because that took days in After Effects, and I love it so freaking much. Yeah, I'm a little bit excited for all of that. Anyway, thank you guys. Let's go ahead and just jump back into that video.
Gather close. Listen. The eons sing us a story as complex as the workings of a universe written into the stars. A story of happiness, of grief, and of betrayal. A story of daring heroes, nefarious villains, and the innocent caught in the middle. A story of the Toa, those they fight and those they protect. Our heroes rise and fall. Voices echoed in ours. Time moves forward, but their stories persist in our minds. Let me tell you the beginning. This is the story of everything. After many months, we are proud to finally bring to you the Doronai Nui Red Box. This is the first public release of a tabletop game system that we have spent just over a year to create, refine, and prepare. The Red Box contains everything that you will need to get started on your journey as a Toa of fire, water, air, earth, ice, or stone. And as no Toa would be complete without their iconic Kanohi, we have a selection of 42 masks for your Toa to don in this release, with more coming in the next expansion. While a Toa's mask can mean the difference between life and death, no Toa should go out into battle without their reliable weapon by their side. With a wide range of weapons and classes, you can fight in a style that is your own. Of course, your fighting style will also be affected by your choices in our fully fleshed out elemental system, designed to give you even more options when facing down against a tough enemy such as a Borok, Voki, or even a Makuta and his Rockshi hordes. The elemental system is built in a way to help you hone your powers in a way we know you will enjoy. And to top it all off, we have 60 Rahi to make your adventures more interesting, as well as a vast listing of iconic villains and foes. Best of all, the Red Box is available to download now, entirely for free. Just visit us at redstargames.org or look in the description for a download link. We look forward to providing more expansions to the Doronai Nui and to see what you all do. Until then, let us know what you think about our first tabletop RPG by providing feedback in our public server In the Light of the Red Star, link in the description. And be sure to follow us on our social media to keep up to date with future updates to the Doronai Nui, as well as a Redbox Q&A and playtest session. More information in the description below.